Hello, my name is John Rose, and in this video I would like to help all of these movements around the world right now unite, not only with one another but even within each group. And the reason why we struggle so much is that most of us, well, there's several reasons. One of them is that most of us don't have all the pieces of the puzzle. And I'll talk about the other one down the road. But this is where this video comes into play, because I want to make sure everyone understands how to use a very special teaching tool that I created, and I call it the Ultimate Schematic. And you can go down to the description box below and look at an overview in the very first of my introductory videos. It's only 20 minutes long, gives you a good idea of my overview of where I'm going, what I think is important, and then I focus on a tool I created to help everyone understand whether or not they're the only piece in the puzzle, or where do they fit with everything else. And how do I use other pieces in my puzzle that I think are not even on the same side? You see, most of us, what happens is we find one of these pieces to the puzzle, and we know it's true, and then we think, oh my God, all the other pieces must be wrong. But no, you're going to be in another puzzle that's going to have other pieces, and guess what? That puzzle will be a piece in another puzzle, and it goes on quite a few times. It's like the Russian doll. So what I've done is I've identified all the important pieces of the puzzle, and I put them in a very simple 6-box system that uses 2 forms of 2-value logic so that each box will have an ordered pair and a polar opposite, and then logically connect to all the other boxes. And altogether there are 18 connections or 18 portals. And then I've identified all the pieces that go into the boxes and the portals. I explain all that in other videos. But what I want to help people understand right now is, let's say, for example, you realize the role government plays, and you think, this is the problem. We've got to go after the government. We've got to get rid of the corrupt politicians. We've got to change the laws. We've got to do this. We've got to do that. And I agree 1,000%. It's a piece in the puzzle. But what these people usually don't understand is, oh, what are the other pieces? Am I in another puzzle? And it turns out I have grouped government in 2 puzzles, main puzzles initially, and then they're within puzzles also. But one of them has to do with 10 subsequent needs because we've made mistakes and damaged ourselves. And then 6 of those are also problems of knowledge. Now you can go down, I'll put a description box down below, and I can show you where you can go directly to other videos in another video series, The Ultimate Solution, where I go into more details. 9 of the 11 videos in that playlist reference back to these 281 pieces. So if I'm going to be talking about something like government, I can say, okay, this is going to be piece 34.4 as one of our needs, because we're not organized, we're chaotic, so we need something to control us, right? We're out of control. But then it's also one of those subsequent needs that can be a problem of knowledge, so I also put it down in another section on my 6-box system. So our subsequent needs are in the first stage of knowledge on the right path. That's the plus 8 box of knowledge. I labeled it. And then on the bottom half of this 6-box system, we got a negative 8 box of false knowledge. And the piece number we're talking about now, government, is actually in the portal or the doorway in between where we're at with false knowledge and where we need to be with knowledge. And one of our subsequent needs, it's not an essential need, it's a subsequent need because we're damaged. It's actually a subsequent need from the very first big mistake we made. And this is what I'm really talking about when I say we got to go upstream. I'm saying we got to correct the very first mistake that put us down on the wrong path. We got to go back to the first cause. And what everyone else is doing is subsequent cause, subsequent cause. We've got the government, subsequent need, that's also a problem of knowledge. But you're only 1 out of 6 subsequent needs that are also problems of knowledge. And you're just like the 6 blind men that find this elephant, and they go up to him and they go, it's a wall, it's a tree, it's a rope, it's a snake, it's a spear. No, you idiots, it's a fan. What's wrong with you? And even though they're all right, guess what? They're all wrong. Why? Because they have a limited perspective. And that's how we are, because most of us don't have all the pieces of the puzzle. And we find one branch off the tree, we think it's a 1-tree branch. Or we think, I'm the only piece in this puzzle. You're not the only piece in your puzzle, my friend. And that's why I am so passionate about what I've done with my tool, because it helps unite all of us and realize, oh my God, there are other pieces in my puzzle. I shouldn't be fighting them. And we got to work together and realize that we have to really go upstream and find out what is the first thing we did that made us lose our golden age. we can regain our golden age, and when we do that, we won't have to worry about our subsequent needs and those that are problems of knowledge. So the ultimate solution to solve the problem with the government, because it's a subsequent need, is realize all those subsequent needs come from the fall of mankind, which is an event that happened long ago, and it's one that's happening right now, and most of you idiots are doing it right now. And you don't have to do that. You can change. Except that's not easy to do, so that's why I added 2 preliminary steps to the thing we ultimately have to do, and thereby perfected a 3-step process. So I created this tool to help unite all of us, and then I created a 3-step process so that we can see what we're missing and realize that we're being distracted every time we look at any of these subsequent causes when we don't also look at the primary cause. And that's what I'm trying to get through to you guys, to help you realize that these problems are within our control. We don't want to be stuck in the 3rd stage of knowledge with what we manifest, with what we got. For a problem within our control, we got to work backwards, go from the 3rd stage to the 2nd stage, go from the effect to the cause, go from the feedback to the lifestyle choices. What are we doing? And then 1 step back again. What are we thinking? What's in our belief system? Well, our belief system is in the 1st stage of knowledge, and it includes what we have in the plus A box of knowledge and what we have in the negative A box of false knowledge, and that's what's getting us in trouble. Most of us are doing things that we think are okay, but they're not okay. They're wrong. They're the reason why we have so many problems. And I can prove it to you. Better yet, you can prove it to yourself. Go down to the description box below and look for my seminar. Do you want to take the 1st step of the 3 steps that will help us get reconnected? And we get reconnected because the first mistake, the fall of mankind, destroyed a nutrient that feeds one of our senses, and this is all scientific. Google Dr. Fritz-Albert Pop and biophotons. He's been studying this for over 40 years. And he goes, look, every living system has them. The more they have, the better. The less they have, the worse. Guess what? The fall of mankind destroyed those. Don't you see? It's a no-brainer. So what happened? Fall of mankind. We lost one of our senses. Now we're just like the 6 blind men from India who think we're right, but we're also wrong. So open up your mind. Realize that you might not have all the pieces to the puzzle. And I may not have all the pieces of my puzzle, so go to the ultimate schematic and find the flaws in my system. Please show me a flaw. You can't find one when it comes to the logic. Now the specifics, what I have inside piece numbers, you're going to want to argue till the cows come home. And I'm telling you right now, the vast majority of people on this planet are not in a position to evaluate what they're doing and what they need to do, and even have a discussion on this, because they don't know what they're missing. So you gotta do something you haven't done yet. If you haven't done it yet, then obviously you don't know what you're missing, right? So take the 1st step, prove this to yourself, and once you do, you're gonna go, oh my God, what would happen if everyone felt as great as I did? That's the solution, don't you see? We all have the wrong mentality. We're all disconnected because our biophoton levels are a fraction of where they need to be. We should be around 83,000. Most of us are somewhere around 1 to 23,000. When we look at the masses, the best 23,000, most of them aren't even doing that. Most of us are way down, real below. We start at 43,000 when we're born, and we go down to 1,000 to 23,000, and we should be up around 83,000. And the beauty about the very 1st step I perfected and is my specialty. I've done this over 1,200 days in the last 24 years. What Dr. Pop has found, since this is the #1 way they heal alternatively in Germany, he found when you do this, it bumps them up to 114,000. So what are you waiting for? We want to flush out something inside of us that doesn't belong there, and you'll see that within a week. And then after several months, you're going to bump up those biophotons, and you're going to go, damn, that guy was wrong every time he said, when you do this, you're in for a treat.